Do you also wonder whether a hair transplant will actually give you results or what kind of results you can achieve within a year? If yes, then this video is for you. Today we are sharing two patients' hair transplant journeys who were dealing with different grades of baldness and achieved amazing results within a year post-transplant. Whether you're dealing with mid-stage thinning or advanced hair loss, understanding their progress will give you a clear idea of what is realistically achievable. If you also want such amazing results for yourself, then right now book a consultation with our experts or visit any of our branches. Stay tuned till the end to understand their complete journey in detail. This is how patient 1 looked before undergoing a hair transplant surgery. He had a bald front with a receded hairline, which made the sides of the frontal area look sparse. The thinning was spread on the overall scalp, starting from the frontal area to the entire mid-scalp and slightly affecting the crown region. This condition of his scalp made him look aged than his actual age, and, like many individuals at an advanced stage of baldness, it had started affecting his confidence and overall self-image. Clinically, his condition was classified as diffuse grade 6, a stage where hair loss covers most of the scalp. Despite the severity, he had a strong, favorable donor area full of healthy hair follicles. Patient 2 had a baldness of diffuse grade 4A stage. In this stage, the hairline does not recede, but the existing hair becomes significantly thinner. He experienced thinning in both the frontal zone and the mid-scalp. The mid-scalp still had a fair number of healthy follicles, which meant that targeted density enhancement could restore a fuller appearance in that region. Apart from these affected areas, that could be further improved with PRP sessions and supportive medication. Even though this was a mid-stage baldness condition, it had already begun impacting his confidence, making him more conscious about his appearance in social and professional settings. Fortunately, he also had a good donor area, which plays an important role in a hair transplant surgery. So if you're also noticing any type of hair loss, don't worry. Reach out to our experts today and they'll guide you to the right solution. You can also visit the QHT clinic nearest to you, whether in Haridwar, Delhi or Hyderabad. Once the baldness pattern was assessed, the next step was to create a precise hairline design. The process began by shaving the scalp and thoroughly cleansing it to remove dust, oil and impurities. After preparing the scalp, the hairlines were crafted according to each patient's unique facial proportions to ensure a natural and balanced appearance. For patient 1, a customized rounded hairline was designed by accurately measuring the distance from the glabella point. This curve was planned to complement his facial structure while restoring the fullness he had lost in the frontal zone. The outline extended across the entire bald frontal area and continued into the mid-scalp region, ensuring complete coverage of the affected zones. This detailed mapping created a clear surgical blueprint, helping achieve a natural, age-appropriate reconstruction. For patient 2, the hairline was also designed by carefully maintaining the ideal distance from the glabella point to ensure symmetry and proportional balance. The outline covered the entire thinning frontal zone as well as the mid-scalp area that required density enhancement. These clearly defined markings served as a surgical roadmap, helping guide accurate graft placement and creating a seamless blend with his existing hair. This strategic approach ensured that the final hairline would appear natural and well integrated. Through this personalized design process, our experts ensured that both patients received hairlines that restored not only their natural look but also their overall confidence. After finalizing the customized hairline designs for both patients, the procedure began by administering local anesthesia to the donor and recipient areas to ensure a painless experience. Once the scalp was fully numb, our team created micro slits across the affected zones. These slits were made at carefully controlled angles and directions to replicate the natural growth pattern of hair. For patient 1, single and thin hair follicles were implanted along the hairline zone to create a soft, natural-looking transition. In the frontal area and mid-scalp, where thinning was present, double and triple hair follicles were implanted to add density and volume. The slightly affected crown region also received double and triple follicles to restore uniform thickness. In this case, a total of 4,800 follicles were implanted, all extracted from the patient's safe donor zone. For patient 2, the approach remained consistent in technique but adapted to his pattern of baldness. Single and thin hair follicles were implanted in the hairline zone to maintain a smooth and realistic hairline. In the affected frontal area and mid-scalp, double and triple hair follicles were implanted to create a fuller appearance. In this case, a total of 2,600 grafts were implanted, all extracted from the patient's safe donor zone. Through this graft implantation process, both patients received results designed to look natural, balanced, and long-lasting. If you have any questions regarding your hair loss or baldness or hair transplant procedure, then drop them right now in the comment section below. Now let's take a look at their monthly progress. 2 months post-transplant, both patients visited the clinic for their first follow-up evaluation. At this stage, for patient 1, our experts observed around 70% shedding in the transplanted area. This is completely normal during this phase, as most shedding typically occurs between the 2nd and 4th month before new growth begins. In patient 2's case, the shedding phase had already concluded within 2 months, and the transplanted follicles had successfully entered the early growth phase, showing showing signs of healthy progression. Although both patients were evaluated at the same stage, their progress looked different, which is entirely normal. Each individual follows their own biological hair growth cycle, which influences the timing of shedding and regrowth. At this stage, both patients also underwent their first PRP session, a treatment that nourishes the scalp, strengthens the follicles, and supports steady, healthier hair growth in the coming months. 3 months post-transplant, both patients came for their second follow-up evaluation. For patient 1, the shedding phase was still ongoing, although the majority of transplanted follicles had already shed as expected. A few follicles had begun transitioning into the early growth phase, indicating that visible density would start appearing in the coming week. His donor area had healed completely with no signs of scarring, confirming a smooth recovery. For patient 2, the growth phase was progressing even more actively. The follicles that had already sprouted were becoming stronger and more noticeable, while the remaining ones had also transitioned into their initial growth stage. His donor area too showed complete healing without any complications. At this stage, both patients demonstrated healthy and normal progress. Differences between their growth timelines were expected, as individual hair cycles vary from person to person. 7 months post-transplant, patient 1's scalp showed good hair growth. His newly designed hairline had begun to take clear shape, giving his face a balanced frame. The frontal area and mid-scalp displayed noticeable volume, with thicker, healthier strands emerging consistently. Even the crown region showed strong density enhancement. The overall growth pattern appeared uniform and natural, reflecting successful graft survival and proper follicle activation. This phase marked a significant milestone for the patient, as his appearance gradually returning to the youthful look he had long desired. 9 months post-transplant, patient 2's scalp displayed healthy and promising hair growth. His hairline had begun forming a well-defined natural contour, and both the frontal area and mid-scalp showed steady improvement in density. The texture, shine, and overall quality of the new hair appeared completely natural. Although a few gaps were still visible, this is normal for individuals with a slower genetic growth cycle. In the coming months, these areas are expected to fill in progressively, resulting in fuller, more voluminous coverage and a complete transformation. 11 months post-transplant, patient 1's look has completely changed. His hairline has now become maturely defined and perfectly frames his facial features and complementing his facial structure. Now, he looked as young as he was in his college days. The frontal area and mid-scalp exhibit dense hair growth with the seamless merge of transplanted and native hair. The crown region has also gained density and perfectly replicates a voluminous swirl. The overall texture, thickness, and distribution of hair appeared completely natural, reflecting strong graft survival and healthy growth. With this level of improvement, the patient now enjoys the confidence and flexibility to style his hair effortlessly in multiple ways. His enhanced appearance not only restored his youthful look but also elevated his overall personality, making this stage one of the most satisfying phases of his journey. Within 1 year, patient 1 has gained mature and healthy hair growth. 12 months post-transplant, patient 2 showcased impressive hair growth. His hairline had now fully taken shape, creating a defined and natural frame that restored the facial balance he had gradually lost due to thinning. The improvement was clearly visible, giving him a refreshed and confident appearance. The gaps that were visible in the frontal area and mid-scalp had now completely filled in. These regions showed dense, voluminous growth, reflecting healthy follicle activation and strong graft survival. The texture and shine of the newly grown hair blended seamlessly with his existing strands, enhancing the overall natural look. Across the entire scalp, the growth pattern appeared uniform and consistent, indicating a stable maturation of transplanted follicles. By this stage, the patient had regained not only his lost density, but also his sense of self-assurance, with the freedom to style his hair as he desired. On comparing both patients' initial bald appearance with their 1-year progress, the transformation is clearly visible. Patient 1 initially had a severely bald frontal zone, thinning across the mid-scalp, and a partially affected crown, giving him an older appearance. At 11 months, his scalp showed dense, uniform growth with a fully matured hairline, restored volume in the mid-scalp, and a naturally formed crown swirl, bringing back a youthful, confident look. Patient 2 began with diffuse grade 4A baldness, including severe thinning in the frontal region and mid-scalp, while retaining some native follicles. By 12 months, his gaps had completely filled in, his hairline formed a natural frame, and the overall scalp displayed uniform, voluminous growth, restoring his natural appearance and boosting his confidence significantly. Within 1 year, both patients achieved impressive, natural-looking transformations. Each journey you've seen today proves that the right technique can truly redefine confidence. Tell us in the comments whose results impressed you the most. And if you're planning your own transformation, consult our experts at QHT Clinic. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring results.